HVAC split unit. Question: when one has a split unit, meaning the air handler may be indoors in a closet, underneath the house in the crawl space, or perhaps in the attic, then outside would be the condenser. Now, if it's a package unit, there may not be a line set, so everything is in one big box on the outside of the house, generally speaking. So, but the question being here, if one has ever heard of the term line set, simply in just layman's terms, line set is just a simple term that effectively mean it's basically two copper pipes. So the larger pipe is for the low pressure side. The high pressure, the smaller pipe or the smaller copper tubing is for the high pressure side. Now, it's counterintuitive. One may think of the larger side being the high, but forget that. Just remember the large. And also on the large side, there's usually a piece of insulation, something like this, on the larger pipe. So, and the direction of the flow, refrigerant flow, usually goes through the A coil, comes out, low pressure, the compressor compresses it into a high pressure vapor, and so the air kind of points out towards the condenser. Now, when it comes in as a high pressure vapor, pulls the air across the coils, begins to change state from vapor to liquid. Once it goes into liquid form, it comes through this direction here, going back in the direction of the indoor coil. So this would be coming outside, this would be going inside. Now, if one in the summertime goes out here and places their hand on this larger copper pipe, it should feel good and cool. Oftentimes there will be sweat here. If you notice this copper pipe has frost on it, you may either have a low refrigerant charge or perhaps an airflow problem. So now, if one generally puts their hand on this pipe, it may have a warm feel to the touch. So because this is the high pressure, everything is compressed in and pressed until it hits the metering device, which could either be a piston or a TXV valve. Then once it goes through, it goes through the metering device, then it becomes the liquid begins to vaporize and flash, and then it goes back, and then it comes into as a low pressure vapor back to the compressor. The compressor compresses it, becomes out as a high pressure. I think this is the correct order. Once it does, then the air again starts to cool it down, and it goes from there back into this line, and it makes a 360-degree cycle. So the large line would be your low pressure line, or and then your high pressure line would be your small line would be your high pressure. I may be wrong on this, but the HVAC gurus can correct me. I think sometimes they refer to this line as the suction line, and this line is the discharge line. So if the HVAC guys can add that to see if that's correct or incorrect on that statement. But this is the low pressure side, the larger line, and the high pressure. This line here should be cool. This line here should be a little bit warm. So thank you for watching. Again, HVAC line set that feeds the condenser outside and goes to the air handler towards the A coil on the inside. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.